Hello, friends. Welcome to Storycraft. On this channel, you will enjoy world top stories. Let's view the video. The Mysterious Death of King William II. Murder or Accident? The Red King and His Rise to Power. A blood-red sunset painted the skies over Norman England, a fitting omen for a ruler whose legacy would forever be stained in crimson. William II, known as William Rufus, or the Red King, was no ordinary monarch. He was the son of a conqueror, brother to a rebel, and a king whose rise to power was as ruthless as the sword that would later claim his life. Born around 1056, William Rufus was the third son of William the Conqueror, the man who seized the English throne in 1066 after the legendary Battle of Hastings. Unlike his elder brother Robert, who was groomed to rule Normandy, or his younger brother Henry, who bided his time with education and cunning, William Rufus was bold, brash, and favored by his father for his martial skill and unshakable will. When William the Conqueror lay on his deathbed in 1087, he divided his empire like a gambler splitting cards. Normandy went to Robert. England, the richer prize, was handed to William Rufus, and to Henry, only gold. It was a decision that would breed jealousy, rivalry, and perhaps murder. From the very start, William Rufus ruled with an iron hand. He wasn't loved, but he was feared. The nobility distrusted him. The church condemned his ways, but he was shrewd, and he was brutal, qualities that earned him loyalty from mercenaries and disdain from pious clerics. The Red King didn't dress like a king. He wore flamboyant clothes, high boots, and long hair, scandalous by the standards of the church. He was known for surrounding himself with handsome young courtiers and hosting lavish feasts in a time when the common people starved. His rule was marked by rebellion and unrest, yet he crushed his enemies without mercy, strengthening the crown's grip on England. It wasn't just men William fought. He defied the church, especially Archbishop Anselm of Canterbury. Their fiery clashes made headlines across Europe. William taxed the clergy, seized church lands, and refused to appoint bishops without royal approval. The Pope was furious, but William didn't care. In his mind, the crown answered to no one, not even God. Still, for all his power and cruelty, William never married. He had no heirs. Whispers spread through the court like wildfire. Was he hiding something? Was he vulnerable? Or worse, was he cursed? The forests of England whispered his name. The barons watched his every move, and the shadows behind the throne grew longer with each passing year. His enemies were many, some in plain sight, others lurking in silence. Then came the day that changed everything. August 2nd, 1100. A royal hunting party. A single arrow. A king dead in the forest. And a brother, Henry, who moved swiftly to take the throne before William's body had even grown cold. But before that arrow flew, before betrayal struck, there was a rise. A fiery, controversial, unforgettable rise. William Rufus, the Red King, had taken England with a roar. His death may be a mystery, but his rise was a storm. And storms always leave destruction in their wake. Enemies in the shadows, politics, power, and betrayal, power, does not come without enemies, and William II, the Red King, had more than his share. In the dimly lit halls of Norman England, whispers echoed louder than swords. Every smile at court could hide a dagger. Every toast could be laced with betrayal. Behind the Red King's fearless face was a storm of enemies who waited, some patiently, others with their arrows already drawn. The nobility, especially the powerful Norman barons, had never fully accepted William's rule. They remembered his father's cold division of the empire, Normandy to Robert, England to William. Many of these lords held lands on both sides of the Channel and hated being torn between two masters. Their loyalty was a mask. Their true allegiance lay with whoever would serve their ambitions best. Rebellion simmered from the start. In 1088, barely a year after his coronation, a full-blown uprising erupted. Led by Bishop Odo of Bayeux, yes, the same Odo who was William the Conqueror's half-brother and closest ally, it was a stunning betrayal. Odo claimed the throne should belong to Robert Curthose, William's elder brother, and gathered barons and soldiers to march on the Red King. But William Rufus acted swiftly. Promising the English people better laws and lower taxes, promises he would later break, he rallied a loyal army. The rebellion was crushed, Odo was exiled, but the message was clear: even family could not be trusted. Then there was the church, powerful, unyielding, and deeply suspicious of William's rule. Archbishop Anselm, a man of faith and integrity, found himself constantly at war with the king. Their confrontations were legendary. Anselm wanted a church free from royal interference. William wanted a church that obeyed the crown. The two clashed, like titans, each determined to bend the other. Behind Anselm, the Pope watched with growing dismay. William refused to acknowledge papal authority. He blocked appointments, seized church income, and ruled as if divine power flowed through him. Alone, to the church, this was heresy. To William, it was survival. But the most dangerous enemies were not on the battlefield or in the bishop's robe. They were within his inner circle, nobles who smiled in his presence but plotted in the dark. Chief among them was his younger brother, Henry. Henry, the youngest son of William the Conqueror, had received no land when their father died, only a chest of gold. While William and Robert ruled kingdoms, Henry waited, observed, learned. He studied his brothers' flaws, watched their failures, and bided his time like a snake in the grass. Some say he was loyal. Others believe he was calculating every move, watching for a single moment of weakness. That moment would come in the forest. But even before then, Henry had supporters, men who believed he would be a wiser, more stable king. And what of Robert, the elder brother? Far away in Normandy, his claim to England still simmered. If William were to die, if Henry could not rise in time, the door would reopen for Robert to seize the throne at last. Enemies in the shadows, brothers playing kings. The stage was set, the tension ready to snap. All it would take was one arrow. The fatal hunt in the New Forest. The New Forest, ancient, dense, and shadowed by towering oaks, was a place where legends were born and secrets whispered through the rustling leaves. For King William II, it was a favored hunting ground, a place where he could escape the weight of the crown and revel in the thrill of the chase. But on that fateful day in August 1100, the forest became a dark stage for a deadly drama no one would forget. Hunting was more than sport for medieval kings. It was a demonstration of power, control over nature, and an opportunity to bond with nobles and retainers. William was no exception. He loved the hunt, often ignoring the dangers and proprieties it demanded. His court gathered for the royal hunt, a grand event filled with excitement, but also tension. William's companions on that day were a mix of trusted nobles, courtiers, and knights. Among them was Walter Tyrrell, a skilled archer known for his calm demeanor and deadly aim. Tyrrell had a reputation as a loyal servant, yet some whispered about his ambition and possible grievances against the king. As the hunt progressed, William pushed deeper into the forest, the canopy thickening overhead and the light dimming to a greenish twilight. The chase was fast and fierce. Wild boar and deer darted through the underbrush, and arrows flew with practiced precision. The king was exhilarated, his sharp eyes scanning the woods for the next target. But then, the unexpected happened. An arrow struck. It pierced William's side, or so the official account claims. The king collapsed near the Rufus stone, a lonely marker that would later commemorate his death. The shock rippled through the hunting party. Was it an accident? A misfire, or something far more sinister? Some versions say the arrow came from Walter Tyrrell's bow, fired by mistake as he chased a stag. Others claim the shot was deliberate, a calculated assassination masked as a tragic accident. Tyrrell, terrified and confused, fled the scene, disappearing into the wilderness, and never returning to England. Rumors swirled instantly. The New Forest, a place of royal sport, had become a crime scene. Conspiracy theories grew like wildfire. Was it Henry, the ambitious brother waiting in the wings? Or were disgruntled nobles tired of William's harsh rule behind this fatal shot? Some even whispered about the Church's hand, eager to rid England of a king who defied its power. The king's body lay where he fell for hours before help arrived. No one dared move the corpse until the sun sank low. The official declaration branded it an accident, but doubt hung thick in the air. In the days that followed, the hunt turned into a frenzy of political maneuvering. Henry was quick to act. While the kingdom mourned, he raced to Winchester, where he seized the treasury and claimed the throne as King Henry I, barely hours after William's death was known. No thorough investigation was ever launched. Tyrrell was conveniently absent. The New Forest remained silent, its secrets buried beneath centuries of moss and leaf litter. Yet, the question persists. Was the fatal hunt a tragic accident or a carefully orchestrated murder? The answer remains lost among the trees, waiting for those brave enough to uncover the truth. The forest, it seems, still holds its breath. Accident or assassination? Theories that still haunt history. More than 9 centuries have passed, yet the death of King William II remains one of England's most enduring mysteries. Was it a tragic accident deep in the shadows of the New Forest, or a cold-blooded assassination? Carefully planned by those thirsting for power, theories abound, and each one pulls us deeper into a web of intrigue, suspicion, and unanswered questions. The official story claims that William was killed by a stray arrow fired by Walter Tyrrell during a hunting accident. Tyrrell was said to have lost control of his horse and shot wildly at a fleeing stag, the arrow instead striking the king. Tyrrell fled immediately, never to return, but this version raises as many questions as it answers. Why did Tyrrell run away? Was he afraid of being blamed, or was there something more sinister at play? Some historians argue that fleeing only makes sense if Tyrrell was involved in a deliberate plot. Perhaps the king's death was orchestrated, and Tyrrell the designated scapegoat. Then there's Henry, William's youngest brother, who quickly claimed the throne in the immediate aftermath. His swift actions sparked suspicion. Was Henry merely seizing an opportunity, or was he involved in the planning of the king's demise? Some argue Henry had the motive, means, and timing perfect for a coup. After all, Henry had been left with no lands or titles after their father's death. Taking the crown would fulfill years of ambition. Others point fingers at the powerful barons and nobles William had alienated during his reign. The Red King's harsh taxation and brutal suppression had made many enemies. Could a coalition of disgruntled lords have conspired to end his reign forever? If so, the New Forest hunt provided the perfect cover, a chaotic event where a death could be passed off as an accident. There's even a theory involving the Church. William's ongoing conflicts with Archbishop Anselm and the papacy made him a target. The Church might have wanted a more compliant monarch, one who would stop seizing church lands and respect religious authority. Could the Church have pulled strings behind the scenes? Adding fuel to the fire are the strange circumstances surrounding the investigation. No official inquiry was ever conducted. Tyrrell's quick flight left many questions unanswered. The king's body was buried hastily, without a proper autopsy or witness testimony. It was as if powerful figures wanted the story to die with William. Over the centuries, legends and folklore have twisted the facts even further. Some say William's ghost haunts the New Forest, eternally searching for justice. Others speculate divine punishment for a king who defied both God and man. What makes this mystery so captivating is the absence of definitive proof. Every clue can be interpreted in multiple ways. Every motive has shadows, and the passage of time has buried the truth beneath layers of rumor, myth, and political spin. In the end, the question remains: did an unfortunate accident claim the Red King's life, or was it murder cloaked in the guise of chance? The answer may never be known, but the story continues to fascinate historians, writers, and curious minds alike. One thing is certain: the death of King William II changed the course of English history forever, and the shadow of doubt still lingers over the New Forest to this very day. Legacy of the Red King: How William II's Death Changed England. The death of King William II sent shockwaves through England and beyond, reshaping the future of the kingdom in ways few could have imagined. Known as the Red King for his fiery temper and bold leadership, William's sudden disappearance left a power vacuum and a kingdom on edge. William's reign had been marked by fierce control and ruthless tactics. His death ended an era of conflict between crown and church, nobles and king, but it also opened a new chapter in English history. Almost immediately, his youngest brother Henry seized the throne, becoming Henry I. This rapid takeover was no coincidence. It altered the monarchy forever. Henry I quickly set about consolidating power, learning from William's mistakes. Where William ruled through fear, Henry aimed for order and justice, introducing reforms that would shape England's legal and administrative systems for generations. The foundation of what would become the English common law began under Henry's rule, a lasting legacy that still influences law today. Yet, the question of William's death haunted the kingdom. The mysterious circumstances fueled distrust, and Henry's rapid coronation raised suspicions about his possible involvement. This uncertainty deepened divisions among the nobility and set the stage for future conflicts. The Red King's death also changed how monarchs approached power. It highlighted the dangers of ruling without allies and the fragile nature of kingship during medieval times. Future rulers learned the lesson. Even a king must navigate shadows carefully. Today, William II's story remains a gripping mystery, a tale of ambition, betrayal, and fate. His death in the New Forest echoes through history, reminding us that power often comes at a deadly cost. The legacy of the Red King is not just about how he died, but how his death shaped the destiny of England forever. Thanks for watching. Subscribe our channel Storycraft for more interesting videos.